In this video, I will show you how to work using the thighs method. I will teach you how to use it on a full standing figure, a portrait, and a still life. And I will speak on how this technique should fit in with using comparative measurements and other such techniques. Thighs is a technique where you draw the figure the same size you see it by standing at a fixed distance away from the model. This comes in handy when you need to measure because you have this fixed distance to measure from, which helps you learn how to see these distances accurately. When using the thighs method, you should also be using comparative measurements, thinking about the form and studying the figure at the same time. Guidetti, sexy painter, and this right here is our professional model, Sarah. And Sarah, what do we have right here?
We have the skin of a newly born tree that has been dried and preserved for our use.
Some idiots might know also as paper. And we have it mounted on this this board right here with 4 pieces of tape right here. That's masking tape, 4 pieces, 4. All right. Now, the first thing we do, we have it set up. Right? We have to have the board set up straight. What we don't want is to have the board here at an angle like a lot of the beginner moron peasants do. We're going to see the paper, we're going to look beyond, and we're going to have what's called geometric perspective warp.
So were you like born like dumb? Or did it like happen later on?
I was born smart, you idiot. Give me the finger.
I don't know.
Give me the finger.
I don't want to contaminate my freaking hand. Do you like cry when you look in the mirror? I would.
Only when I see you behind me in the reflection. Eat it. Eat it! Men. Bigger brain, women, creatures.
How does it feel to have like nuts the size of a pistachio?
I wouldn't know. I would ask you that. Burn. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna have the easel squared up, right? You don't wanna have it to the model. You don't wanna have it going to the side or anything like that. You wanna have it squared. And here's another thing. The closer up you bring the easel to the model, the larger she's going to appear on the freaking board, right? So if you're wanting to do a smaller drawing, because size is essentially the size that we see it, right? We're drawing the same size we see the model. So the model will be up there. She's highly professional. We have her standing up there. And I'm gonna get at a distance where I think she's gonna be about this big right here. Now, if I want her to appear larger, another thing we can do instead of moving the easel forward, right? Because sometimes we have a lot of people in the class and you can't always move the easel close to the model. You have to have it back so there's enough room to fit easels in. We can ourselves stand back, okay? And so this is what we do. Let's move back here. All right, so I would stand back, and now if I'm looking, and now what I see is her foot and her head are this big, right? But when I go up close, it's this big. And so that's how we do it. And so if we're drawing from back here, what I can do, I can take the tape and I can mark right here on the floor where I'm standing. I normally like to do my standing leg, my left leg like this. So from here, we're essentially walking back and forth and putting marks on the canvas. So we're observing everything from the back here and then carrying that in our minds up here and drawing. And the advantage of this too is that it forms your visual memory, right? We have to remember where the marks are on the paper, and then we have to accurately place them after walking up. And it's great exercise. That's why I have such a nice. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you, the inferior woman, pose for me, the superior man, big brain. And what I want you to try to comprehend with that pea-sized brain of yours is this time suck all 8 of those belly rolls in along with your cankles.
You're my model now.
I cannot find my other lens, so this is going to have to make do. Essentially, size is drawing something the same size that you see it, and this is not to be done exclusively. Right? We're supposed to be drawing using comparative measurements. We're supposed to be looking at the form, right? The 3-dimensionality of it. We're supposed to be doing several different things all at once. Sight size is essentially another technique, it's another tool that we can use. We put it in our tool belt and we just pull it out whenever we need to do something just badass and sexy in drawing, painting, which I do daily. And if you will, I'm going to show you exactly how I do this using a very high-tech presentation, okay? Okay, presentation, 3, 2, 1, go. So here we're gonna start with a standing figure, right? There's a standing figure. And what we're gonna do we want to work right here all up close so that we have geometric perspective warp? No, because this part's gonna be elongated, or rather foreshortened. This one's gonna be foreshortened, this is gonna be elongated. There's geometric perspective warp. So for that reason, my dear peasants, we need to be working about, I would say, 6 to 10 feet back, at least, back here, right? Viewing the model back here. Now I want to make a quick correction here. It's essentially 3 heights back of whatever we are drawing or painting that we stand when observing in sight size. And for the reason for this is obvious, it's the geometric perspective warp. So essentially just be smart about it. Step back so there's no distortion or anything like that. Now, with still lifes, obviously they're gonna be smaller, but just be smart about it. I normally stand back about 6 feet from still lives, you know, maybe they're about, well, you can't tell, about this big. Ah! I went through back.
Do you have to look like that? Point your toes, Lewis.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our easel up here and we're gonna place our board on the easel. Say we're standing up close like this and we're drawing. We are going to be observing the model right here. So this is going to be the size at this distance that we see the model, right? Now, if we want to see the model bigger on the board, we're gonna have to stand back this way, all right? And now look, the model is actually going off the top of the board there, and then it's going here. So now the model's appearing bigger, whereas here before, obviously, it was smaller. So essentially what we do, we need to mark our feet. It's not necessary if you're very close to your board. You just kind of remember where you are, and it helps to mark, for example, if this is the board right here and off in the distance you see a standing figure, it helps standing a fixed distance away, very close, within arm's reach, and just mark the bottom and the top points, and that way you can just align yourself. If you mark it on the side of the board here, you can just automatically align the figure to those points, and that way you are staying in the same place. So essentially, walking up to your board, the model is going to appear smaller. Walking back is going to appear larger. Now, what happens if we have essentially the board closer up, right? What happens? If we bring the board closer up to the model, it's obviously going to be bigger if we're standing here. So if we want it to be smaller, again, that's us. Boom! Shakalaka. It's still gonna be big, but it'll be able to fit on the board smaller. You bring the board, so you bring the board close. Focus! Focus on me. Focus, you stupid camera. So if we move the board closer up, it's going to appear bigger, but then we have to deal with perspective warp, so you always want to have it about 6 to 8 to 10 feet back.
Stop breathing, it's messing up my form. Oh, why are you turning red, huh? Huh? You can't hold your, you never learned how to hold your breath when you were a little kid? Hold your breath, stop hyperventilating. Quit breathing, you're messing up my lines. Now like really let your like inner emotion come out. Like what are you feeling right now? Okay, no, too much.
What about a still life or an inanimate object? If we have the object right here, it's on a model stand, and we're standing some feet back, so there's no perspective warp. Let's say six feet back or so. That's a 6 feet back right there. We're gonna place the easel right here and put the board right here. Obviously, because if we're looking at this distance right here, boom, boom, right? This is the object, right? That's the object, and let's color code the board. This right here, this is our board. That's our board. So then as we can see, right here is how big the object is going to be on the board, right? Now, if we want to bring the board forward this way, okay, what's gonna happen? It's going to get smaller, right? It's going to be smaller, whereas before it was here, all right, and here. Now it's obviously it's in a little bit more.
You look like a snot balloon. Try to be a little softer. Yeah, no, like keep it couple of facial expressions, right? Yeah, try it. No, now you look scared. You want to be like, yeah, like enticing, you know, like strength, but like also like now, what are you taking a poop?
What about portraits? Portraits is the same thing as still life. Essentially, if we have a person here and this is their face, okay, that's the nose, ear, I'm gonna line the board up right here to them. That's gonna be sight size for obvious reasons, right? This is the easel, okay? This is the person here, belly button, okay? And they have their arms and such. And I'll be standing back here. This is me. These are my muscles, okay? Painting, paintbrush, okay? Big legs, sexy. Now, winking at you, squinting, that's the nose. So essentially I'm looking back, and if this is the board, let's color code this board. All right, brilliant. It's obviously right there. That's how I'm gonna do it. If I want it closer, you get the idea, right? We're viewing this distance, so the closer the board gets, the smaller it's gonna be on there. So this, my friends, is a flawless freaking drawing, an explanation of how exactly you do sight size.
Damn it, Lewis, stop looking so ugly. Change your facial position, okay? Tilt your head up, your chin. Look, you can't even do that. What is wrong with you? You gonna start crying right now? You gonna cry? What do I look like, your freaking mom? Why don't you go home to the basement that you live in and just like sit there in the corner and feel sorry for yourself, because it looks like that's about all you can do. Huh? No, yeah, okay, we're getting somewhere, Stop hyperventilating, you little pussy.
You know, it's not always easy being as good as I am at drawing and painting, because you see things, you see a lot, you see what a lot of the beginner moron, peasant idiot morons are doing daily. And one of the things that I would like to address, I'm gonna start doing this in just going forward, is being able to do more than one thing at a time. So for example, in sight size, you're not, like I said before, you're not supposed to just be doing sight size, just copying anything. Okay, this is the size we see and not using our brains, because like I've said on multiple occasions, it's very important to understand what you're looking at, and that understanding is going to come out in your drawing, and this is very important. However, we are supposed to be thinking about form. We're supposed to be using comparative measurement when we're doing sight size as well. Now, if you are a beginner peasant idiot, then it is okay to only focus on doing sight size at first in the interest of understanding it and getting it. Because as everybody when they start, except for myself, you're given about 20 things that you have to do, and you might do one imperfectly, and it takes all your energy, your effort, and focus to do that one thing, and that's kind of how it is with this. So if you are a beginner peasant, I would highly recommend just really honing in, trying to learn sight size, understanding it as a tool, and not taking it out of place. It's supposed to be done amidst all the other tools that we ourselves as superior beings, as artists, as masters of other people who are lesser beings than us, we use on a daily basis.
Suck it. I said suck it in, Lewis. Suck it in. Yeah, okay, good. Now, what the f are you doing with your arm? What do you, no, look, see? You put it up by your face. Like, you know, little, yeah. Oh, yeah. You feel like a strong man now? Now do a little dimple. Do a little dimple, huh? Oh yeah, so cute. Yeah, keep doing it. Keep doing the motion. That's right.
I would also like to state that we're supposed to be looking at the impression, we're supposed to be looking at the form, getting the lights, getting the darks. And just because we don't draw something in the very beginning stage, that does not mean that we're not thinking about it. You always want to think about the form. You always want to make sense of what you're looking at. Every step of the process is an opportunity to study, if you will. And sight size simply assists in this. It gives you an accurate point of measurement, right? You step back, you look, you see something, and that distance is a fixed distance that is inarguable. The heights, the distances do not change in sight size. They are fixed, and it's something that you can judge off of and fall back onto and learn to see these distances with. Now, with sight size, it is also important to notice that when you're stepping back and observing from a distance and walking forward and doing the beautiful little marks on your paper, you are having to retain in your mind what you saw from back there and put it on your paper. This increases your visual memory to unfathomable levels. All right, so it helps your visual memory. It's an all-around great exercise, and I highly recommend it for all you peasant moron idiots who wish to become badass and sexy like me.
You feel like a really big, strong man right now, Lewis? You feel like, oh no, is he getting sad? Is he gonna start crying? Start crying, Lewis, cry. I wanna see the tears. I wanna put your sadness into my art.
Flawless Dub, Louis Guidetti, Sexy Painter, and this is I have a Discord channel, and I live stream on Twitch almost every single day. So until next time, I am Louis Guidetti, and this is Let's go, bitch.
Ready, bitch?
Bitch.
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 You ready?
Stone face. Right. What?